Welcome to a story that will redefine what you think is possible. In today's video, we introduce you to Lily, a remarkable woman with Down syndrome whose spirit shines brighter than any adversity she faces. Picture this: a trendy boutique bustling with stylish shoppers, where every detail exudes elegance. Amid the chic ambiance, Lily enters with hope and determination, ready to embrace the day. However, as she gracefully moves through the store, a group of mean girls takes notice. Their eyes narrow and their whispers turn into cruel jibes, aiming to diminish her unique charm. Their harsh words echo in the pristine air, a stark reminder that prejudice still lingers in even the most modern settings. Just when the tension seems unbearable and the cruelty reaches its peak, an unexpected twist changes everything. The legendary Clint Eastwood, known for his unyielding, cool, and timeless wisdom, appears. With a calm, commanding presence that instantly silences the room, he confronts the bullies. In that electrifying moment, his mere presence forces the mean girls to freeze, their arrogance evaporating as they realize that respect and decency are not optional. Clint's words, delivered with quiet authority, transform a painful encounter into a lesson of resilience and dignity. Before we take you on the full journey of Lily's transformative day, we invite you to join our community. Please hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that celebrate courage, kindness, and the power of standing up for oneself. Trust us, this is one story you'll want to watch until the very end. Stay with us as we reveal every twist and turn of this unforgettable encounter and discover how one act of bravery can change lives forever. Don't miss a single moment of this inspiring journey. Emily stepped out into the crisp morning air with a hopeful smile lighting her face. Today was a special day, and though she had faced many challenges before, she felt an unyielding sense of courage in her heart. Born with Down syndrome, Emily had always been known for her gentle spirit, radiant kindness, and a unique sense of style that set her apart from the crowd. As she walked toward the town's fashionable boutique, she recalled memories of previous days when unkind voices had tried to silence her inner light. Yet, with every setback, her determination only grew stronger. The boutique, renowned for its eclectic collection and warm ambiance, promised a new beginning. Emily envisioned finding a piece that would not only accentuate her natural grace, but also serve as a symbol of her resilience. Inside, the store buzzed with energy. Elegant racks of clothing and soft ambient lighting created an inviting atmosphere. Although she was excited to explore, a subtle apprehension tugged at her, for she was aware that not everyone celebrated differences. In a quiet corner of the store, a group of young women whispered harsh remarks and exchanged disdainful glances as they noticed Emily's arrival. Their voices, cold and cutting, attempted to undermine her confidence. Still, Emily moved forward, her steps measured and determined, unaware of the storm about to unfold. Today, her journey was not only about finding a beautiful outfit. It was about embracing who she was and defying the negativity that sought to hold her back. Every step Emily took resonated with quiet strength and promise. Little did she know, this day would mark the beginning of an unexpected encounter that would transform not only her world, but also the hearts of those who doubted her. Indeed. Inside the boutique, Emily's excitement was palpable. She ran her fingers over soft fabrics, admiring the beautiful dresses around her. But as she moved deeper into the store, a wave of discomfort settled in. A pair of young women, impeccably dressed and exuding arrogance, stood near the main display. Their eyes locked onto Emily, and in an instant, their whispered mockery began. "Does she really think she belongs here?" One of them sneered, tossing her platinum blonde hair over her shoulder. "This isn't a charity shop," the other muttered, her smirk widening. The words weren't meant to be subtle. They were thrown like daggers, loud enough to sting but disguised under the veil of casual cruelty. Emily heard them, but she refused to react. Years of enduring judgment had taught her that responding to bullies only fueled their arrogance. Instead, she clutched the fabric of a beautiful dress tighter and continued browsing, determined not to let them ruin her moment. The whispers didn't stop. Does she even know how to dress?" The brunette chuckled, eyeing Emily with a condescending smirk. A few shoppers glanced over, sensing the tension. Some looked uncomfortable, while others merely watched in silent curiosity. The store employees exchanged wary glances, but hesitated to intervene. Emily's chest tightened, But she reminded herself of why she was here. She wasn't just shopping for a dress. She was claiming her space, proving that she belonged, just like anyone else. Then, suddenly, the store's glass door swung open. A deep silence fell over the room as the presence of a towering figure commanded attention. Clint Eastwood stepped inside, his sharp gaze scanning the boutique. The bullies froze. In that moment, the air shifted. Something told Emily that everything was about to change. A heavy silence gripped the boutique as Clint Eastwood stepped inside. His presence alone was enough to command attention. The air seemed to shift, tension crackling in the room like a brewing storm. His piercing eyes scanned the space, instantly landing on Emily and the two mean girls standing nearby. Jessica and Lauren, the ringleaders of the cruelty, stood frozen in place. Moments ago they had been laughing, their words dripping with mockery. Now their faces paled, their arrogant expressions faltering. They had expected no consequences for their words. After all, who was there to stop them? But they hadn't anticipated this. Emily, still gripping the fabric of the dress she had chosen, looked at Clint with wide eyes. There was something reassuring in the way he stood, strong, unwavering, a force of nature that demanded respect without uttering a single word. Clint finally spoke, his voice steady yet firm. Something wrong here? His words were simple, yet they carried the weight of authority. The entire store seemed to hold its breath. Jessica recovered first, forcing an awkward chuckle. "Oh no, of course not. We were just chatting with our friend. Here." She gestured toward Emily with a saccharine smile, as if their bullying had been nothing more than friendly conversation. Clint's gaze didn't waver. "Is that right?" He turned to Emily, his expression unreadable, but his tone laced with quiet concern. "That how it looked to you?" Emily hesitated. For so long, she had been conditioned to brush off cruelty, to pretend it didn't affect her. But something about Clint's presence, about the way he effortlessly shifted the power dynamic, made her feel safe enough to speak the truth. "No," she said, her voice steady. "That's not how it looked at all." Jessica stiffened. Lauren swallowed hard. For the first time, it was their turn to feel small. The tension in the boutique was thick, as if the air itself had frozen. Clint Eastwood stood tall, his eyes locked onto the two mean girls. His presence was calm, but the weight of his gaze was enough to make Jessica and Lauren shift uncomfortably. "So," Clint said, his voice low yet firm, "you were just chatting, huh?" His tone carried a hint of disbelief, like a man who had seen this kind of cruelty one too many times. Jessica forced a nervous smile. "Yeah, we were just having some fun. No harm, right?" She nudged Lauren, who quickly nodded in agreement, but neither of them looked convinced by their own words. Clint let the silence stretch for a moment before speaking again. "Fun, huh? That what you call tearing someone down?" He looked directly at Jessica, his gaze sharp enough to cut through her facade. Emily stood still, watching, heart pounding. For the first time, she wasn't the one scrambling for words or shrinking under the weight of judgment. This time, the bullies were the ones squirming. Lauren stammered, We didn't mean anything by it. She knows that, right?" She turned to Emily, desperate for an escape. Emily took a deep breath. She had spent her life letting moments like these pass, allowing others to define her worth. But not today. Not anymore. "No," she said, meeting their eyes. "I don't think you were just having fun. I think you were trying to make me feel small. But it didn't work." Jessica's mouth opened, but no words came out. The tables had turned. Clint nodded, a faint smile of approval forming at the corner of his lips. "Looks like she doesn't need me to fight her battles." The store was silent. The power had shifted. Emily had taken it back. Jessica's smirk twitched as she struggled to regain control. The power she once held over Emily had slipped through her fingers like sand. She wasn't used to being the one on the defensive, and she didn't like it one bit. "Oh, please," she scoffed, flipping her blonde hair over her shoulder. "So what? You stood up for yourself. That doesn't change the fact that you don't belong at places like this." Lauren, still shaken by Clint's presence, nodded weakly. "Yeah. You really think people like you fit in at high-class events?" Clint Eastwood exhaled slowly, his rugged face unreadable. Then, with a slight tilt of his head, he spoke. "You got a lot of nerve telling someone where they do and don't belong." His voice was smooth yet sharp, like a blade cutting through their arrogance. Jessica scoffed. "It's just the truth. People will stare at her. She'll be laughed at. We're actually saving her from embarrassment." Emily clenched her jaw. The same old argument. The same tired excuses bullies always use to mask their cruelty as kindness. But this time, she wasn't going to let them win. "You're not saving me from anything," Emily said, stepping forward. "You're just scared that if someone like me can shine, then maybe your little world isn't as exclusive as you think." A few customers in the boutique murmured in agreement. The shift was undeniable. Jessica's confidence wavered, but she wasn't about to back down. Instead, she crossed her arms, narrowing her eyes at Emily. "Fine," she said, her voice dripping with challenge. "Prove it. Go to that event. Walk into that gala, and let's see how long before you come running out, humiliated." Emily held her ground. Clint's gaze flickered to her, waiting to see what she would do. "I don't need to prove anything to you," she replied, "but I will go, and I'll own it." Jessica's face twisted in frustration. The challenge had backfired. Emily wasn't afraid, and that terrified her. A heavy silence hung in the air after Emily's firm declaration. The boutique no longer felt like a battlefield where she was outnumbered. Now it was her stage. Jessica's fingers tightened around the hem of her designer jacket, her frustration evident. She wasn't used to losing, especially not to someone she deemed lesser. Her challenge was meant to humiliate Emily, to make her retreat in shame. Instead, Emily stood taller than ever, unshaken and defiant. Lauren, sensing the shift in power, whispered, "Jess, maybe we should just drop this." But Jessica wasn't ready to back down. "Fine," she snapped, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Then I guess we'll see you at the gala. Hope you're ready for what's coming." Clint Eastwood took a step forward, his presence commanding as ever. He looked Jessica straight in the eye, his voice steady. "The only thing she needs to be ready for is success. And from where I'm standing, I'd say she's already got that covered." Jessica's smirk faltered. For a brief second, there was a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Clint wasn't just some bystander. He was a living legend, someone people respected. His words carried weight, and now the whole store was watching. Emily didn't need anyone to fight her battles, but knowing Clint was on her side only fueled her confidence. "You know what, Jessica?" she said, tilting her head slightly. "I used to be afraid of people like you, afraid that your words could define me. But now I see the truth. You're not powerful, you're just scared. Scared that someone like me can stand next to you and still shine." Jessica's jaw clenched. Emily smiled. She had won this round, and soon she would win the next one, on the biggest stage yet. The gala awaited. The night of the gala had finally arrived. The city sparkled under the glow of towering lights, and the grand venue stood like a palace, its entrance lined with red carpets and velvet ropes. Luxury cars pulled up one by one, dropping off elegantly dressed guests who radiated confidence and class. Inside one of the approaching vehicles, Emily took a deep breath, steadying herself. The dress she had chosen, deep red, sleek, and stunning, hugged her frame perfectly. Her hair was styled with soft waves, her makeup subtle but enhancing. She looked at herself in the mirror, and for the first time, she didn't feel like she was trying to fit in. She felt like she belonged. "You ready?" The driver asked with a polite smile. Emily exhaled, nodding. More than ever. The car door opened, and as she stepped out, heads turned. Some subtle, some blatant. Conversations paused as people took in the unexpected guest walking onto the red carpet with the kind of grace that couldn't be taught. But just a few feet away, Jessica and Lauren stood near the entrance, champagne glasses in hand. Jessica's expression twisted into barely contained irritation. "I can't believe she actually came," she muttered under her breath. Lauren, shifting uncomfortably, glanced around. "And people are looking at her, but not how we expected." Jessica's jaw tightened. She had anticipated Emily looking lost, awkward, out of place. Instead, she walked with poise, her confidence undeniable. Then, a voice from behind them made them freeze. "Looks like she's already won before the night even started. They turned. Clint Eastwood stood there, watching Emily with a proud, knowing smile. Jessica's grip on her glass tightened. This wasn't going according to plan. Not at all. As Emily stepped into the grand ballroom, the golden chandeliers above bathed, everything in a warm glow. The air was filled with soft classical music, the clinking of champagne glasses, and the hum of polite conversation. But something else lingered in the air. Curiosity. Guests stole glances at Emily, some whispering, others merely watching. She felt the weight of their gazes, but unlike before, it didn't shake her. She kept her posture straight, her head high. Jessica and Lauren hovered near a table, watching like vultures. Jessica's lips curled into a smirk as she turned to Lauren.